It's an honor and a privilege, and I'm truly humbled to be able to do this. The definition of recovery is what people experience as they become empowered to manage their substance use disorder, mental illness, in a way that allows them to achieve a meaningful life and a positive sense of belonging in their communities. Recovery is a verb. It's a worldview, and I am privileged to be able to stand in the gap along with my amazing coworkers to help suffering addicts understand this fact. At Farrell, we know that when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, and that recovery awareness is crucial to do battle with addiction, this cunning, baffling, and powerful enemy of life. My name is Mike, and I'm in recovery. Today, I'm not ashamed to say that. In fact, I am proud to say that I'm in recovery because recovery is not the same as just being clean and sober. Recovery is a way of life. It's a worldview of living in the solution, doing the right thing for the right reasons, and not causing harm to self, others, or my relationship with a higher power. A higher power that is loving, caring, and has a plan for my life if I can stay out of my own way. At the Farrell Treatment Center, we are helping to change the narrative on addiction and bringing recovery awareness to the forefront. And we are helping recovering addicts to become the heroes of their own story, to reclaim dominion over their lives, and to choose life over death. Recovery isn't about wins or losses. It's life or death. The disease of addiction is loud, and it's getting louder. And so recovery must be even louder. We can no longer afford to remain silent about addiction. It can no longer be the elephant in the room that people don't want to talk about. As a society, we must face it and shine a light on it. For we know that darkness and deception is afraid of the light of truth. Addiction is a family disease. It devastates the family unit, and it often requires a family solution. Addiction robbed me of my parents, my childhood, and most of my 20s. In fact, the disease of addiction was impacting my life long before my life ever even began. I was born into the projects of Meriden, out of wedlock, to an alcoholic mother who struggles with mental health, and a heroin-addicted father. At age 2, according to my DCF file, I was discovered in a dilapidated crack house in a soiled diaper that hadn't been changed for days, malnourished, surrounded by a group of active addicts. Those events altered the course of my life forever, and its negative ripple effects began what would become a 14-year struggle in and out of foster care and group homes, where I suffered all types of abuses and was thrust into survival mode. I developed survival and coping skills that were once assets but had become liabilities later on in my life in my battle with addiction. These faulty coping skills had become defects that I clung to without an understanding of how they were keeping me sick and suffering. Whilst I developed many poor habits and was never shown how to live responsibly, I did also pick up some strengths. The two main ones were advocacy for myself and others, and developing a strong internal motivation and desire to overcome my own situation. Only 3% of foster children get an associate's degree in college, and less than 3% receive a bachelor's. These were statistics that I was determined to overcome. I realized early on that nobody was coming to save me, and that I had to start to become the hero of my own story, that I had to save myself. I was able to beat those odds, go to college, and earn an associate's towards a journalism major. Today, I have become a state-certified recovery support specialist, modeling my own recovery and helping others to achieve long-term recovery through Farrell Treatment Center. Through Farrell, I am now a trusted, responsible, and productive member of a hard-working team. I was nominated for a Shining Star Award, and I've received a promotion to case manager, which has enriched my life drastically. It wouldn't have been possible without a core group of supporters, many of whom are here tonight. I am so grateful for them and for their belief in me. I'm humbled as I reflect on this journey and how we got here. The disease of addiction is insidious. It knows no bounds and it only seeks to destroy everything in its path. It seeks to do the most damage, and its negative ripple effects have permeated my life. Reflecting on my years in foster care, I can say I became a peer support specialist long before I knew what it was. From age 10 to 16, I lived with well over 30 different foster brothers and sisters. We were kids, thrown together in our darkest days, disillusioned with humanity, unable to trust people, hurt, abandoned, fearful, anxious, feeling left behind and forgotten about, disconnected. And what we didn't know it then, but what we were seeking was real, genuine connection, a longing to be heard and seen, to be acknowledged and loved as enough. We didn't have much, but we had each other, brought together through our plight, going through our darkest days. We would lie awake at night and we would share our pain, our fears and anxieties, but also our hopes and our dreams of better days ahead. If only we could endure. We were resilient kids, but we were hurt, traumatized, and fearful. We would share about how hopeless it all seemed at times, and many nights cried ourselves to sleep, filled with resentments. I began to find inspiration and motivation in my ability to inspire and motivate them. They looked to me for that perspective, that principle of unity, and sharing a common struggle and seeking a common solution is something that would parallel my battle with addiction later on in life. For the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. As recovering addicts, we need each other, united in our struggle and strengthened by our ability to inspire and motivate each other in the solution. Connection is the opposite of addiction. When I got clean later in life, I felt like I had rediscovered my passion and my purpose. Drawing on those experiences as a child, I felt deeply connected with true self, body, mind, and spirit working together and not at war with each other, because recovery is an inside job. I desired to help others, to inspire them towards changing their lifestyle. I wanted to carry a message of hope and the promise of true freedom that recovery brings. Whether it was that foster kid overcoming his plight and getting into college, or as a lost, disconnected young adult with a long history of addiction trying to gain recovery. It was through the dedicated programs such as Gilead's Feral Treatment Center and through becoming a father of my own two precious daughters that I was able to learn how to challenge my core beliefs and ask for help, to work on my weaknesses and build off my strengths. When I have learned throughout my journey from being a consumer to now a peer support specialist is that I can embrace the things that I once believed were a burden and use them to inspire and understand others who have experienced that same pain and struggle and meet it with compassion. The peer support movement allowed me to use the experiences and tough life lessons that I once viewed as a curse and turn them into blessings that I could use to motivate others. I have come to know that the real war on drugs is not fought with handcuffs, jail cells, or in silence or stigma. It is fought at a family dinner table, treatment center, self-help meetings, in church basements, and with recovery awareness. It's fought with people helping people, through the peer movement, with therapists, sponsors, and counselors, with compassion, recovery knowledge, and with faith backed by action. Addiction is not a moral failing, and it cannot be fought with mere willpower alone. The true nature of this disease is the powerlessness of the active addict over substances and the deep spiritual void that creates. It is fought by challenging outlooks, because we know that outlooks change outcomes. I am proud to be on the front lines in those treatment centers and church basements. I'm honored to stand in the foxhole, shoulder to shoulder with the true soldiers in this war. People like my coworkers, who work tirelessly and selflessly to impact other people's lives so positively. I am humbled that these same people I respect so much, I now count among my most cherished friends. I am truly grateful. My life was once spiraling out of control. Now I give hope, compassion, and resources to others who feel lost and just want to learn how to choose life over death and desperation. Giving another addict the gift of getting their kids, families, wives, careers, and their lives back. I have learned that it is important to invest in people, in the spirit, rather than on material things, because investing in people causes a ripple effect. I can stay rooted in hope and possibility rather than fear and self-defeatism. I can freely give back what was so freely given to me, and I can be of service to others expecting nothing in return. I can fuel my spirit and my passion at a 12-step meeting and through work, and I am able to get others to those meetings as well to begin healing. Our literature states that, quote, the more we draw on our passion, the more of it we have, end quote. Recovery is energizing. It breathes life into those who are suffering in body, mind, and spirit. Active addiction is exhausting. It drains the spirit and destroys the body and the mind. Recovery allows us to find our passion and acquire a quiet inner confidence that no matter what life brings, no matter the tests, trials, and tribulations, we can navigate the ups and downs, share our pain with others, and stay the course. So long as we have our recovery intact, we have the privilege of being happy, joyous, and free. Free to have choices and to make decisions that aren't dictated by a substance. Alone I am doomed, but together we do recover. In recovery, a victory for one of us is a victory for all of us. I have been able to work with our clients outside in the community through the creation of a sober softball team, something that Gilead funded completely without hesitation, including buying some amazing jerseys. Gilead was the only sponsor who paid for the players' jerseys, ensuring that none of our former clients in early recovery incurred a financial strain. Through that team, made up of former clients, I have another way of keeping connected with them in their aftercare, providing them a healthy and positive outlet and another avenue for networking. We have many clients who are sustaining successful recovery and living much healthier lives, clean and sober, on our team. The season was a tremendous success. We struggled as a new team in a long-standing sober league, but we all stuck together, rooted for each other, stayed positive, and represented the spirit of Feral Warriors, which is also our team's name. Our stick-to-itiveness and constant positivity paid off in a big way when we were able to win our final game of the fall season, becoming the first newly created team in this league to earn a victory in its first year of existence, and allowing me to say that we won a game for this speech, thank God. The team fully encompassed the heart, soul, and spirit of the Feral House and everything that it stands for. Feral is truly a beacon of hope and resiliency, a guidepost in this most important battle with addiction. We can't ever underestimate the power of community, of a group of like-minded individuals with a common purpose, working towards the right things for the right reasons, pulling on the same rope. What a force that can become, and what an impact it can make. As a society, we have been far too quiet for far too long. We need to start getting loud about addiction and about recovery. It is claiming the lives of far too many, far too young, and for far too long. These are good, worthy people in the grips of a continuing and progressive illness, not the judges of society. It affects everybody the same, and if not treated, it's fatal. We need to understand that disease thrives in fear and negativity, hopelessness and despair. We cannot scare an addict clean, no. Instead, we must inspire them. We must love them when they can't love themselves, whilst also remembering that tough love is love. Most of all, we need to bring and shed recovery awareness wherever and whenever possible. And we need to start having that conversation with our loved ones early and often. Today, I know that failures are not fatal, just as success is not final. It's about getting back up and having the courage to get vulnerable, because legends are made of vulnerable men. I will have the resolve and the love for myself to stay the course, to take a path of freedom and not subject myself to the bondage, pain, and desperation of substance slavery, but rather to fuel my journey with faith, hope, passion, inspiration, and action. I think back to that foster child who just wanted to make a difference in the world where he felt all alone, unwanted, left behind, afraid, and unloved. And I think about all the dreams that he still had the courage to dream, of somehow making a difference in the world, and how that dream has come full circle. I think about how that dream continues to dare to dream some more, and encourages others to dare to dream, and that there is a way out through recovery. I think about how all my experiences were sharpening, informing, and molding me, and that they were happening for me, not to me. See, because the time would come when I would need to lean on those hardships as a pathway to peace, in order to do battle with my most formidable opponent, the disease of addiction. I think about the ripple effects of changed mindset, changed attitudes and behaviors, and of changed actions and beliefs. I think about how when I changed, my circumstances changed, and not the other way around. I think about how I was able to define the way that my traumas impacted my life, rather than letting those traumas define my life. I think about the prayer that I had taught myself out of desperation in one of my foster homes. It's one that I have carried with me and refined as a client on my recovery journey. And that is, God, you know my heart. Please put the right people in my path, guide my steps, and give me the strength to endure in a way that serves you and leads to a life of happiness and purpose. I'm so grateful that Feral was full of those people that were put in my path, and that together, with their never-ending support and belief in me, something special, something magical happened. A lost dream within me awakened. Feral is my family. Today, I get to live and work in my purpose and ignite my passion and inspiration. I get to experience the miracles of recovery and to help others to know that an addict, any addict, can stop using drugs, lose the desire to use, and find a new way to live. In closing, I just want to share with you a quote from the book, Living Clean, The Journey Continues. It's the last line of the last page of the book, and it reads, quote, "No matter how far we have come, or how far we know we have to go, when we live clean, the journey continues." Man, what an amazing journey it's been, and truly, we are just getting started. Thank you so much to Gilead, to my co-speaker Amal, who helped calm my nerves. I'm truly humbled and honored to have had this opportunity. My name is Mike, and I'm an addict in recovery.